Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent. Today's trip through the Outer Planes continues with Bytopia and Elysium, the neutral lawful good realm of Bytopia, and Elysium is the true neutral good realm. Bytopia exists in between Celestia and Elysium. It is known as the Twin Paradises. The plane has an upper and lower region as layers, facing each other with a space in between. The surface of one layer can be viewed from the other as a ghostly mirror reflection against the sky. The best analogy of this is a book with no spine. The insides of the two covers are the surface of the two layers facing each other, and a traveler standing on one layer can look up to see the other hanging overhead. The separation is 20 miles from sea level to sea level, and gravity functions normally for each layer, ultimately flipping if you get too close to the other layer. Flying from one layer to another is common, but also climbing certain mountains that have connecting peaks is a path to the other layer, although crossing in this way can be hazardous when gravity reverses itself. The two layers are called Shuruk and Dathian. Dathian is considered the topmost plane, with mild seasons, great oaks, and large meadows. Shuruk is wilder, with its dramatic weather and untamed wilderness. Neither side considers itself better than the other, and natives of one layer often visit the other for a change of pace. Dathian is the more populated of the two planes, but Shuruk has more raw materials, seams of gold and gems found just beneath the surface. Celestial versions of animals live in Bytopia. Intelligent animals you would find on the material plane in a forest or meadow exist here, and it's home to an abundance of gnomes. The gnome deity Garl Glittergold lives here. He has a whole community of divine gnomes helping him manage his portfolio. His cohorts make their home on Bytopia in an area of Dathian known as the Golden Hills. Garl Glittergold has mined out most of the region and provided warrens for gnomes and forges for craftsmen. Deep in the mines are vortices that lead to the elemental planes of earth and fire. Bytopia is also home to adamantine dragons, which have extremely hard silver scales and a white-hot breath of magical flame that can ignite non-flammable materials. They are perhaps the mightiest of dragonkind. They are the epitome of good, sacrificing what is necessary for the common good of intelligent creatures everywhere. They are the self-appointed guardians of Bytopia. Despite living in a somewhat lawful plane, they are unconcerned with law or chaos, only the protections of sentient, good life forms. Next, we discuss the blessed fields of Elysium, a place of ultimate goodness, a land so pleasant you may never want to leave. There are 4 layers to Elysium, dominated by the river Oceanus, which begins on the 4th outermost layer and flows down to the innermost layer, which happens to be the one closest to the astral plane. The river then flows into the Beastlands and Arborea, much like the river Styx flows through the lower planes. The difference being that Oceanus is slow, peaceful, and able to be navigated by mortals, with no threat in the waters to travelers. The lands of Elysium are fertile, filled with pine trees and sweet-smelling flowers. Rolling grasslands reach some hundreds of miles. The sky ranges in color from indigo to light blue, which depends on the number of glowing orbs in the sky. There is no sun or night in the conventional sense, but a large number of powers that inhabit this realm affect the sky. It brightens and darkens depending on who or what is ascendant at a particular time. Elysium is home to 4 layers, and they are Moria, Eronia, Beleriand, and Thalassia. Moria is the layer that borders the astral plane, and thus being the most common point for travelers. There are caravans that lead to Bytopia, but if you follow the river, it will lead you to the Beastlands, which is the outer plane for our next video. Moria is more like the material plane than the other 4. Eronia is a mountainous region where the river Oceanus is broken up by waterfalls. Beleriand is a wide, flat region which has turned into a marsh. Many strongholds and realms are located beyond the banks. Finally, Thalassia is the great sea from which Oceanus flows. Dry land consists of a few small islands scattered throughout this layer. These are the final resting places of the blessed, those who perished for the cause of good. Elysium is home to many creatures found in the upper planes, but is uniquely home to the Phoenix. It's interesting because the 2nd edition Manual of the Planes talks about the Greek and Egyptian gods having stake in Elysium. Not that this is really odd, but it's odd to me that because I don't think of D&D with those gods in mythology. But originally, or at least in the 2nd edition days, it was written into the planner mythology. And now that I mention this, I'm reminded that those gods are listed in the player's handbook. I wonder, do you play D&D with Greek and Egyptian gods? Let me know in the comments below. It can be dangerous to stay in Elysium. You might become so enthralled by it that you refuse to leave. At the end of a long rest taken in Elysium, a visitor must make a DC 10 Wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, the creature is unwilling to leave the plane before taking another long rest. 3 failed saving throws, the creature never willingly leaves. It's the true neutral plane of good, and goodness shines everywhere in Elysium. All manner of good-aligned outsiders can be found here, including those of lawful or chaotic disposition. Even creatures from the elemental planes, such as Jinn, can wind up in Elysium. Chantia once lived in Elysium, as did Lathander, and Mystra had her city Dwemerheart here before it became its own plane in 3rd edition, and was later destroyed during the Spell Plague. And that's it for this week. Everything's so nice and happy in these realms, it makes for shorter videos when there isn't any conflict to talk about. If you want some more info on Bytopia, I have a channel recommendation for you. AJ Pickett of the Mighty Glue Stick, he did a really great video on Bytopia, going into much more detail than I have here. Head over to his channel and tell him I sent you. Links in the doobly-doo. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video.